The Paul Leslie Interviews.
All right. Aloha, Jim Asbell.
Aloha.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
All right. Well, we're going to play a few songs for us. We're going to talk a little bit about your music. And I understand you have a song in mind you'd like to play for everyone.
Yeah, I'll play probably the most popular one I got off the new CD. It's called Pirate in His Own Backyard.
Let's hear it.
Ponytail, contraband cigars. He's miles from water, but not too far to be a pirate in his own backyard. Palm tree swaying, pool water blue, dark island rum and smuggler's loot. He's a pirate in his own backyard. Starry nights, the Roger flies his mischief in his restless eye. The service private domain. Lantern from a yard on swings, fish gardens in abounding Maine. He's a pirate in his own backyard. Hammock and a cask of ale, his sharp-witted mind that never fails. He's a pirate in his own backyard. Dozes to the seabird cries, living in his treasure prize. X marks the spot of his dreams. Anchor filled up to the rim, he walks out back, says, sail again from a harbor, surrounded by the city streets. Starry nights, the Roger flies his mischief in his restless eyes. Survey his private domain. When the world starts closing in, storm winds blow their gales again. He's a pirate in his own backyard. Smooth sailing from his captain chair, his friends and loved ones join him there. He's a pirate in his own backyard. Yeah, he's a pirate in his own backyard.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
So tell us about that song. I see you wrote that with Frank McInville.
Yeah, Frank is one of my very best fans, absolutely my very best fan. Frank is he's president of the Jim Asbell fan club. And about a year or so ago, we have a very good friend named Joel Oates, who is the president of Atlanta Parrot Head Club. Joel and his wife, Susan, bought a house in Duluth and kind of converted the backyard to a Key West scene. It looks just like a Key West when you walk in their backyard. I mentioned that to Frank, and Frank had noticed. I mean, everybody that goes there, has been to Key West, knows it. And Frank mentioned that he was going to write a poem. So he wrote a poem for it called Pirate in His Own Backyard. And he sent it, he gave it to Joel, and we were talking about it one day when we were talking about putting the CD together. And he said, "Can you make it into a song?" And I thought, yeah, it was a good poem, but the meter was just a little different. And I had that melody for that song there was what I'd wanted to use for another song for Man Overboard on the CD, the actual song Man Overboard. But I started messing around with it in the house one day, and I thought Pirate would really go good with this melody. So Todd Ague, the guy who does keyboards for me and produced the CD, and I started working around with it and came up with that version of it. And we kind of took some certain liberties with the words and rewrote it a bit, but the theme is the same and the idea is the same, and the whole thing follows down along that line. So it's one of my favorites to play, and it's one of the favorites when people come to see me. So it's just one of a real good song that people have really taken to.
So how long have you been performing?
I started playing for real in my second career, which is the current acoustic version, about 10 years ago. I had played, in high school bands and all that stuff. That was the long hair hippie, heavy metal days. And I'm just not good enough to play that kind of music anymore. So I was sitting around, and a good friend of mine was having a derby party, Kentucky Derby party. And so on his house, he had this old Martin case. And I said, "Yeah, is that a Martin guitar?" Because I'd never played one at the time, and he said yes. So we pulled it out, and so I started messing with it. And while we were there, he pulled out a Buffett CD, and I'd heard Margaritaville and the other stuff, and he started playing that Buffett song. I thought, holy cow! So I started messing with it again, and then Todd and I, the guy, again, the producer of the CD, at the time lived here in Georgia, and we started messing around, playing just parties and stuff, and then started hitting it for real about 10 years ago, in the 95, 96 area.
And the first time I think I saw you play was down in Key West, and I guess you've kind of picked up the island inflection in your songs. I mean, the album is obviously, it's called Man Overboard. So what made you take it to the level of deciding to try to put some of the tropics in your songs?
Well, it is, it's a common theme with a lot of people that they want to live at the beach or live in the tropics. I mean, it's obvious. It's not a tough theme to sell to people. But what I wanted to do, I'm definitely influenced by Buffett music. I'm definitely influenced by that whole genre of music, and it's kind of a subculture now. But I wanted to keep the influence, but not write, laying on the beach and drinking beer all day songs. And so that's why that's where I wanted to make sure everybody knows when they listen that it's island influence, but based I probably got more country feel in me than anything else right now, which is odd, coming from a heavy metal background, Kiss and all that stuff. But that was it. And if you've ever been to Key West, it's kind of like Monty Python. Some people get it and some people don't, and those that get it are all in the same boat, man. And so I fell in that boat, and I really love the feeling that you get when you're down there. And it's kind of turned into a boutique now. It's a little bit more touristy, but there's still pockets where you're down there and everybody's real. No, there's no pretensions. Everybody's just who they are, and I like that a lot.
So maybe you'd like to play another song for us?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
How about Man Overboard? I like that one.
Okay, that'll be a little tough to pull off acoustically, but we'll do it. This one was written coming from the corporate world. You spend a lot of time doing things in corporate America. You can work a whole lot and not have any tangible results, and that's kind of where this came from. Is it's like overboard in two situations. It's on the album. It's spelled overboard, B-O-R-A-D, and so. But that's kind of it. It's kind of like, I'm overboard and I'm overboard. I got to get out of here. So that's where that all came from. So we'll give it a shot here if I can find the chart. All right. And I'm not chauffeur. Made lots of money, climbed lots of floors. Successful in their book and using all their stuff, but always wishing I was somewhere else. I'm a man overboard. Lived under glass ceilings, hit ground floors. I'm a man overboard. Don't want to live in the real world no more. Now the only place I know where I know I belong is behind this guitar with you singing along. Boring and comfortable, it leaves me quite numb. I'll be out of breath, but I learned to run, 'cause I'm a man overboard. Lived under glass ceilings, I hit ground floors. I'm a man overboard. Don't want to live in the real world no more. Because say what you will for some life without thrill, steady way to go. I can't help but be doubting what they think that they know. Sing song after song, each night after night. I know I must be quite the sight. Where does it come from? Can't say I don't know. Well, I'll take a shot and enjoy the show, 'cause I'm a man overboard. Lived under glass ceilings, I hit ground floors. I'm a man overboard. I'll walk the plank and I'll swim for the shore. I'm a man overboard. I'll trade my passage for an uncharted shore, 'cause I'm a man overboard. I'll empty my pockets and I'll swim for the shore, 'cause I'm a man overboard. And I don't want to live in a real world no more.
You pulled it off acoustically.
Yeah.
Very well.
First time ever.
All right. So you were mentioning some of your influences. You said that you have a lot of country sound in this, even though you started off kind of being a rock and roller.
Right.
You liked Kiss a lot.
Yeah, when I was in high school, they were the band, man. Them and Aerosmith and all that. But yeah, that's basically where it started.
So tell me about some of your other influences. I saw you were covering Gordon Lightfoot, which is very underappreciated, and Stephen Stills, and then a Jimmy Buffett song. So tell us about some of your influences and some of your favorite musicians.
Yeah, I am one of the groups that's always been with me, and it's I don't play much of their music anymore, but is the Eagles. I love the soaring melodies that these guys made when they sang, and the songs that they wrote. When they got into the the Hotel California and the long run stage, they kind of got political and all that, but they were always a big influence to me. I like Gordon Lightfoot a lot. It happens to be Kathy McInville, Frank's wife's favorite song in the world. So I played it once on a gig, and she passed out, and so we ever since then, anytime she's there, I have to play it. But anyway, I thought I'd put it on the album. Not only just I did want to do it for her and for the fan club, but I like the song a lot, and I probably will do more Gordon Lightfoot in the future when I get there. But I like songwriters. I like good songs. I like good songwriters. Buffett is an influence. Anything along that line, that genre of harmonic stuff, and it is a little more acoustic and a little more country now. I love James Taylor. I don't have the guts to try too much of it. I play a couple of his songs, but they're so difficult. I really, as a result of liking Buffett, got into Mac McAnally a lot, who I just cannot tell you how much I like his songs. They're so deep, and he's such a great musician. But that's it. And I'm, the older I get, the more I'm kind of just wandering off the beaten path and finding artists that have been around but you haven't really heard of a lot. But as far as lyrically and musically, it's probably more in the line of the Eagles and that kind of stuff. What you're hearing on the CD is basically a collaboration between me and Todd. Todd is kind of from a northeastern Motown, groove kind of background, and he's he's a true honest-to-God musician. I'm just a hack that started playing guitar, but Todd knows music. And I'll send him 3 chords and a cloud of dust, and he'll send back, the stuff that's hard as hell to play, which is why I have to have charts a lot of time, because skinny little bastard drives me crazy. But anyway, no, that's what makes things work out between us real well. And I like all kinds of music. When I was growing up, my father was worked on jukeboxes, and he was always bringing home the 45s after they were stale on the jukebox, and I had everything from Motown to rhythm and blues and all that. So I like all kinds. But as far as playing, I probably would lean more towards country, Garth Brooks kind of stuff. Can we cuss on this show?
You can say some things.
Okay, good. Because there's a lot of people, when you say Garth Brooks, it evokes. But anyway, that kind of thing. I'm in that, I'm more probably along that line. I've been told I have kind of a twangy voice at times.
So there's one of your other songs. We actually have a request to hear this one. It's called So Clear. Could you tell us about that song?
Yeah, that was that was in the final, one of the last songs we did for the CD. We were putting it together. Excuse me. We were putting that together in time for the Parrot Head Cruise, which goes out every March, and it's sponsored by the Atlanta Club. And one of the things they do on the group of people that are going on the cruise, I've been booked to be on it, and they send out this kind of a survey, and it asks them, what's your favorite thing about the cruise? You've been on the cruise before. What did you enjoy the most, least? And one of the things they asked is, what would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing now? And, they're all parrot heads, so I'd be living on an island drinking, glasses of frozen drinks with umbrellas in them. So I had thought about that, and there's a beach bar that I like a whole lot, and that imagery of that place that I go to, and the imagery of everybody wanting to live in a place like that, it was just kept going through my mind of, this is what everybody would be if they could. And as much as I didn't, like I said, I don't want to put, he ran away from home from Maine and lives in Key West and drinks beer on the beach all day songs. That's kind of what this ended up being. But it's a kind of a stream of consciousness about those things going through my mind, and then this place that I really, really like a lot. And it's no longer with us. It is eaten up by condominiums, but it was just a great place to be, and I spent a lot of time there just sitting on the stools and looking out at the ocean. So that's how So Clear came about.
Well, where was this place, may I ask?
It was in Panama City Beach, Florida. Actually, it was down on the beach. It was a little bitty bar down there. I can't remember the name of it now. It's been so many years, but it was right down. It was down on the far end of the beach, and this guy that owned it, I think it was called the Red Rooster or something like that. But it was just it was a dive, and but it was the greatest place. And they had the old wire spools, from the old cabling, were their tables. And out on the deck, he had Adirondack chairs that you could sit in, and they were all just beat to hell, and scar people had written stuff all over and all that. But it was just such a great place. The beer was cold. They had oysters, and it was just a great place that I always enjoyed being there. And so that kind of led me to that lyric.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. Dream of a faraway place, it's always warm, with sun-drenched beaches and emerald palm, crystal blue ocean, and the surf is always calm. Singers and thatch huts singing their island song. It's a place where the winter only brings shorter days. The trade winds push all the sailing ships our way. The fishermen and locals all seem to have it made. And the days all die off into violet haze. So clear in my mind's eye, this paradise is too perfect a vision to realize. All the good spots on earth have been loved to death. So I just keep this old place to myself for a while. For a while. The weathered bartender smiles as he pulls another beer. Another water spot on the wire spool table sitting here. This Adirondack chair never felt quite so right. And the perfect sunset sinks into perfect night. It's a place that I go to each and every day. All the locals find it too expensive, but they stay. safe and it's breezy and it's out of harm's way. 2 seasons hot and hotter, so that's what they say. It's so clear in my mind's eye, this paradise. It's too perfect a vision to realize. All the good spots on earth have been loved to death. I just keep this old place to myself for a while. For a while.
And the one thing that I think is really remarkable is how quickly you're very humble, but a lot of the parrot heads really love you. I mean, I hear lots of comments about you, and a lot of the other musicians in the area have said a lot of things about your music and your style. Why do you think it is that so many people have been drawn to your music? And don't be humble.
It is very humbling. It's hard for me to talk about myself. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that drew them that way. I think a lot of it is that they see, at least in my mind, that I could be them. I'm a guy who worked for a living, and in corporate America, a nameless drone, who had a dream, a chance to play music, and did, and it's worked out real well. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing. Nothing in the world. And hopefully that shows through. I honest to God can't tell you what they see in me or why they keep coming. I mean, God bless them. It's the best thing in the world that they do. But it's hard to say. I really don't know. I don't know what has brought them that way. I think a lot of it is that I guess for me there's a kindred spirit with them. I mean, if I wasn't playing, I'd be out there. I'd be sitting there watching somebody play. And I honest to God, I love playing it so much. I like the same kind of music that they like. And it seems like any new song I learn, anytime I play it, they all start hooping and hollering and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know you knew that." So I don't know, maybe it's just a connection there, but whatever it is, I hope I don't ever lose it, because they're wonderful people. And it's very humbling to have them come out and see you.
Well, let me ask you this. What drew you to them? When I first started out, I was playing at a place in Snellville, Georgia, called the Lazy Dog Tavern, and it's one of these strip malls that had gone bankrupt, and somebody opened a bar up in there, and it was as low key and as off the beaten path as you could get, and being there and playing, I played on weekends from the 9 to 1 shift, and 1 o'clock you'd be in there. And there'd be 1 or 2, 3 people left, whatever, and you're trying to get through it and everything. And so when you finally get someone that is actually, and you can tell when people are listening and when you're background noise. And I was playing there and just keeping that in my mind. I was just about ready to give it up. I'd been doing it for about 6 or 7 years, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And I basically quit playing there, but maybe once a month, just as a favor to the owner. And so a guy that I knew called me up, and he said, "There's a place out in Gwinnett County called the Flying Machine. It's a restaurant off the runway there in Gwinnett County Airport." And he does theme shows. He has like an Elvis show and all this. He wanted to do a Buffett show. And this guy that was a friend said, "I know a guy that plays a lot of Buffett." And at the time I did. I played probably about half of what I play now, but I played a good bit. And so I played there, and it was on a Thursday night, and it was a $10 cover, so of course there's not a huge crowd. But part of the crowd that was there were 4 people from the Lake Lanier Parrot Club. It was Billy Pate and Doug and Jackie Brown and Frank Troncalli. And they started whipping out, anytime you play for a Buffett crowd, you don't ever need a set list, because they start firing off requests one by one. Well, as luck would have it, I knew everything they wanted to hear. And they thought this can't be happening. So that kinship drew me to them. I mean, it was really appreciative when you play and people react to what you're playing.
And and when you go to the bar, they're not. It's not a concert. They're not sitting there watching you entertain. They're at a bar, and you're playing in there. Hopefully, you're entertaining them. But these guys were really. They knew the words like I did, and they knew what they wanted to hear, and they wanted to hear it this way, and it drew me to them. They asked me to play a party, and it just kind of went from there. And they started spreading the word. And again, that Parrot Head, that whole culture is like just a subculture, and word gets out fast. And breaking into it is very, very difficult. But once you get there, you're kind of in. So I was drawn to that they like the same kind of music I did, and that they really seemed to enjoy more than background music, that it was something that they were enjoying doing, and I was enjoying doing for them.
I guess you hear a lot of people yelling, "One more song."
Yeah. That is, One More Song was the first thing I ever wrote for the CD, and it is a true story. It's made up of several true stories, but every time I play, and again, going back to the Lazy Dog story, you're playing that 12-to-1 set with 3 people in there, and you're just trying to get to 1 o'clock so you can get paid and get out of there. But with these guys, no matter how long I play or where I play or what I've done, there's always somebody out there. Come on, one more. Just give us one more song. And it doesn't matter how many times I play or where I play. One of this group, a core group people shows up, at least one, and they start that one more song and stuff. And it's funny, it's very flattering. It's very flattering to have people want to hear more. And sometimes they want to hear more because they don't want the music to stop. But sometimes they want to hear one more song. So they started that. Every time I play, they'll start that one more song. And it became kind of a joke because I'd come up for the last set and I'd say, okay, we got 45 more minutes. And then the next song, we got 40 minutes. And I would start doing that. And one time I was playing out at Wild Wing, and I had played, it was a party kind of thing. So it wasn't just a standard 3-hour gig. And I got back up there and I usually keep my watch on my microphone stand. And I looked down, I thought, God almighty, it's only 2 o'clock. Well, the dirty bastards had set my watch back an hour while I was on break. So that kind of led to the song, and that's how One More Song came about.
Well, let's hear it.
All right. They wear crazy clothes and they show up in droves. To most of my words and they hum when they don't. This is their world, this is how they play. I got 1 set to go, time to plan my getaway. Saying goodnight, about 2 songs to go. Hoping to roll before the rooster crows. Finishing on time just ain't my luck. And they say you wouldn't have this problem if you sucked. So here I go, playing everything I know. Now it's a race, see who hits the floor. The words to the songs are less and less clear. Here comes the Saw Cuervo, limes and beers. I lost track of time, but it's way late, I think. What the hell, yes, please, one more drink. I'm hoping that they've all got to get on back home. And then the loudest ones start screaming one more song. So here I go, playing everything I know. Now it's a race to see who hits the floor. Words to the songs are less and less clear. Gonna need a ride to get me home from here. Now for years I'd give everything I had to get this chance that I wanted so bad. This is one dream too good to be true. Free drinks instead and a bunch of drinking fools. Somebody set the clock back an hour, I think. My logic and volume was starting to sink. The heads are on the table, I'm thinking that they're gone. And then one wakes up and screams one more song. Well, here I go, playing everything I know. We'll call it a draw. Please lock the door. The words to the songs are less and less clear. Gonna need a ride to get me home from here. Bye, bye, bye. I said bye, 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 bye.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, through the power of modern technology, this show is able to go out all over the world. So what my question for you is, Mr. Jim Asbell, what would you like to say to the world?
Be cool, man. That's all I can say. All this stuff going on, just be cool, enjoy yourself. Life is what you make it. It's easy to go a lot of paths, and I think the happiest people in the world are the ones that know exactly what they want and do everything they can to get there.
Well spoken. But before you go, would you play one song for me?
Sure.
Would you play Where I Want to Be?
Where I Want to Be, yes. I will. I have not performed this song live ever. First time live ever, yep. But yes, I'll be glad to play it for you.
All right.
I wrote this song. I was down in, back in my traveling days at work, I was down in Mobile, Alabama. And it was after the hurricane had hit. But after the hurricane, you just see a lot of people, the devastation. You can see it on TV. It doesn't mean anything as much as it does being there, and to see what all these people had lost. And anyway, I really wanted to be home. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be home. And I've got a young son that I really missed and wanted to be home. My wife, and so I was sitting in a hotel room in Mobile, Alabama, right there on the bay. And when the sun sets out there, the water in Mobile Bay where we were is very muddy, and it's a very shallow kind of inlet there. But when the sun sets, it hits it. It's just absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I mean, it's the most beautiful sunset you'll ever see, coming over those reeds. So as I sat there in the hotel room, about as miserable as I could be, and when all these feelings going on, I started writing this, and it just kind of flowed out. But we'll give it a shot. I'll try to get through it. I don't know. Like I said, I've never played it live, but I did. That's where the story comes from. So I'll try to give it a shot for you. Reedy fields are slowly sinking in the rising tide. The gold reflection from the water is blinding to my eyes. Beauty now that masks the muddy water underneath. The tide lines drift all southward slowly onto their release. 500 miles away from you and in this painted scene. Though indescribable the scenery, I only feel the missing pain. Wondering how things are going back in our home there. I trade this postcard viewpoint to get to you right now. 'Cause there's no beauty in a dreamland better than your smile. And there's no music that is sweeter than the laughter of a child. Beaches, oceans, marshlands, islands where I wanna be. But none are more important than the place with you and me. I am happy just to let the music take me to those lands, hopelessly beyond the reaches of the common man. On the day the rain on the wall, and the road's a lonely place when you're out of the show. Somehow we paint the picture of things we want so, and the streetscapes can be better than the one we know. 'Cause there's no beauty in a dreamland better than your smile, and there's no music that is sweeter than the laughter of a child. There are beaches, oceans, marshlands, islands where I wanna be, but none are more important than the place with you and me. The place with you and me.
All right, the first time ever, Where I
Yes.
Want to Be. Jim, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It's what you guys are doing is unprecedented. I mean, you're giving solo artists and people like myself that would never get this forum anywhere else a chance. And I know I speak for a lot of other guys who I've talked to have been on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. May I ask, where can the listeners find out more about you?
You can check out www.jimasbell.com. And you can also email the fan club at jimsislanders@comcast.net. Those both are on my website.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
It was a pleasure.